Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, September 10th. I'm going to run through a bunch of charts here, kind of recap what's going on across the board. Anyways, here's the Kitco gold overlay chart. You can pretty much see gold the past few days has started to drift down, and it's starting to pick up momentum as a stair-step pattern starts to happen. And I have a feeling we're probably done most of the move down today. We could go another $5 or so, but then I think it'll just flatline into the weekend. If we pull up the daily and intraday chart of gold, you can see I mentioned it looked like we were topping here. I was hoping we were going to penetrate this high. We're going to get a quick pierce, and then we'd see some selling step in, and that's when I'd want to go short. Instead, yesterday it pretty much just rolled over and started to sell off. So if we take a look at the 60-minute chart, you can just see yesterday morning, usually around 8:30 or so, there's a morning sell-off. If you take a look at the quick charts here, you get these 8:30 more or less sell-offs, and it happens quite often. The odd time it will actually go the opposite way very strongly, but majority of the time there's always a small downdraft around 8:30. Of course, if you're in a downtrend, it's over exaggerated. But we got the move down yesterday with some pretty big volume. Saw a huge volume spike. We saw some elevated volume earlier in the morning, indicating that there could be some big pressure building. Anyways, through the night last night we had low volume drift up, and we just saw it just crack again. It started to move down, and anyways, we're getting a downtrend here. So it looks as though we're starting a downtrend, but if we take a look at the daily chart, we're actually still, I'll just zoom in a little here, we're still holding in pretty. We haven't broken any key resistance. There's this pivot low here, which you can actually see better on the daily, on the 60-minute chart. Just zoom out a bit. There's this key pivot low here, which we're still above. So if I just drag that across, we're still above that 1240, or just about 1238 area. So we're still above that right now, but there is this huge congestion area right through here. So this is going to act as support, which is where it's trading. It's just trading at the top of that now. So really, unless we break this 1234-ish area, which is where we happen to go long over here, then I think then we've got a downtrend starting. Now it might have started already, but we're still holding above key support, and the trend could still easily pick up from here and continue higher and actually do that pierce on the daily chart, which I'm talking about. It'll suck in a lot of buyers, and then we could see selling step back in. So even though we've seen two downdrafts already, we're still overall pretty much at a support trend line. We're still in an uptrend, and we're still holding key support levels. So that's where we stand with gold. I wouldn't get too antsy yet. I wouldn't want to short it right here, simply because we are at support. It is oversold now. It's made a pretty good move down in the last 3 days. The one thing to note though is that we did see down here, you can see a big selling spike, and we've got some pretty good selling spikes happening over here on some downdrafts. So we were in nice, you can see the volume here. We had some nice volume spikes, pretty much solid volume on this chart on the uptrend, and now we're getting big volume spikes and some toppy choppy action here. So it is indicating that gold is getting weak, and there could be a reversal coming. So what I'm more or less looking for is either a break below here, and then some funky flag like a bear flag moving up into this resistance level, and then we'll short. But I don't want to just short in this uptrend. I want to see it broken. I want to see a light volume test, and then we'll take a short position. As for the gold miners index, just looking at the GDX fund, you can see the past couple of days we've had, this is a regular trading hours, so 9:30 to 4, and you can see we've had more or less, it looks as though we've had a double top, and there's quite a bit of selling volume coming in. Not a huge spike, but either way we're pretty much trading right at support. Now support and resistance, it's not always dead on. If you mark a low here and you see it break it, most of the time support and resistance is pierced, and then you'll see a bounce back up, and that's just how the markets move. If you try and put in dead numbers, if it breaks below this, a lot of times we get shaken out, and you'll see a lot of times it'll get pierced and then move back up. So I wouldn't say we've broken down yet on this chart, but it looks as though we've got a double top forming, and pretty much what happened here is we had the move up the previous week, and then through the holiday weekend and stuff, we saw it drift up on fairly light volume here, and then it just got stepped on again this week. So it does look as though gold miner stocks are starting to have a top. Now if we take a look at the US dollar, this is the daily chart. You can see we had that huge sell-off there going into the summer, and we've broken out of this trend line with some nice volume, and now it's flagging more or less. It's got more or less, it's a bull flag, but it could also be a mini head and shoulders pattern with a shoulder, you know, here, a head here, a shoulder here, and it's got a neckline. The fact that the neckline is angling down, I don't like that as much, and because there was a big surge of volume here on the way up, I feel as though it's more of a bull flag, and we'll have to see which way it breaks. If it breaks to the upside, we'll most likely see it rally somewhere up into this area, and of course that'll put pressure on equities. It'll give the next leg down in equities, and it'll also put pressure on gold and oil. So if we take a look at let's just pull up the 60-minute chart. Yeah, this here just shows you the head and shoulders better. 60-minute chart US dollar. It also shows you that there's possible bull flag. It's trading up near resistance here, trying to see if it can maybe make a break through there. If it does break through there, I wouldn't really consider it a breakout until it breaks this other high back here at the 83, probably 75 area. But of course, if it breaks this trend line, that's the first step towards the next rally. So now if we take a look at crude oil, which is very related to the US dollar, this is the daily chart. Crude oil has just been forming this more or less wedge or flag here, a bear flag, and it's been getting a little choppy, and it's more or less waiting to see what the US dollar does. And of course, if the US dollar goes up, we're going to see downward pressure on oil, see the next leg down, somewhere down into these previous lows will be the first area where it'll most likely find a bounce. But it's just getting really choppy. We did try and get some action on it. Unfortunately, it had, if we just zoom in a bit, it did break the previous highs, had some spikes, and it's just getting pretty noisy here, and it is starting to break to the upside above these intraday channels here. So right now we're just going to sit and watch and see how it unfolds and see if it can shed some light on a new pattern or a new direction, because right now it's just turned into noise now, and it's tough to trade that. Okay, so if we take a look at the SP 500, this is the daily chart of SP futures, and more or less yesterday we went up, we pierced the 200 period moving average, it closed back down below it. We're riding up on this gray line here, which is 5-day moving average, and right now it's squeezed right in between there. I think today could be a pretty non-eventful day. We could just see the market trade very lightly and just be sideways. It is a short week this week, and people are still coming back from holidays, so it's overall been a very light week on the market. And in light volume, there's a tendency for sideways to upward price action. Not huge rallies, not big sell-offs. So I'm expecting a more or less flat session today. But we are getting pinched, and I do expect something's going to happen next week for sure. It is options expiry next week, so we're going to have some volatility and some manipulation going on. But I do have a feeling that this pattern is somewhat of a bearish pattern. Now I did show, let me just pull up the gold chart. I mentioned gold. Let me just peel a couple charts off here. The other day I mentioned this is a gold 60-minute chart. I did mention that we had this huge rally up, we had a drift down, and then we kind of had this this kind of slow curve going up, and I mentioned in the morning report saying that this type of pattern here is actually bearish and that we'd most likely see a pullback, which we happened to get only a couple hours later. And this pattern here is a pattern I see over and over. It doesn't matter what time frame you're looking at, it still works. So if we go to the S&P 500, this chart's a little, not as many bars, but it has the same look to it. It's got the move up. you've got this bull flag down, and it's kind of doing this angled drift back up almost to form a double top, and it just has a look to it and a feel that naturally we might get that another penetration of the 200 or up into this resistance level, and then we'll see it come back down. So I am looking at this as somewhat bearish, especially the fact that yesterday it went up, penetrated, and got pushed right back down again. There is resistance up there. There isn't enough volume to push up and through. So I am somewhat bearish on the S&P right here. Now if I pull up the market internals, here is the NYSE advanced decline line. Of course, if it's up by this red zone, it means stocks are overbought, and there's a tendency for them to go down for some profit taking. If the indicator's down here by the bottom, we generally want to be looking to buy because it's oversold. Right now it's trading more or less in the middle, so that it's neutral, and also the put call ratio is trading somewhere in the middle of its range, so it's neutral. So today looks like it's going to be a non-eventful day. Not a lot going on. There should be very light volume. It's just going to flag around. It's going to be very tough day trading for anybody trying to getting in on the action. So I'd be very careful. Make positions small if you're going to be playing around in the market today. Anyways, that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.